What is resilience? Resilience is the ability to withstand adversity and bounce back. Look at resilience. I will give two illustrations for resilience. Number one, look at it like an elastic band. You pull the band, the tension, the pressure, so it withstands, it doesn't break. And then when you leave it, it comes back. That's what resilience is. And the question sometimes people ask, is it that some people are born with resilience or resilient and others are not? Resilience is like a basket. Look at this basket of goodies. So every time we need to keep filling that basket with goodies, and also we can withdraw goodies from that basket because of going through adversities. So we continuously need to keep on filling the basket. Resilience is best developed during periods of calm, periods of peace, when there's no adversity. So resilience doesn't just come because somebody has gone through adversity. Resilience comes from earlier on, so that by the time somebody is getting into an adverse situation, they are resilient. Just like the way we said the band, the elastic band. It's because of what it is, that's why it can withstand that pressure. And then once the pressure is over, it comes back to the original shape. I remember one of the questions that somebody asked me when I did a presentation on resilience, and I gave the example of one of the most resilient people that I know, Nelson Mandela, having survived, the Robben Island, and having come back and forgiven the people who had the perpetrators. And Nelson Mandela is an icon, really, who I think if there's somebody who would have wanted to live forever, some people would even be willing to give their lives for Nelson Mandela. So this person asked me a question. Did Nelson Mandela become resilient when he was banished to Robben Island, or was he resilient from before? And I referred him to the book written by Nelson Mandela on the long walk to freedom. When you read the book, you realize that Nelson Mandela grew up in an amazing, protective and nurturing family, raised by his father, who instilled resilience and life skills in him. So by the time everything that he did was actually, can you say that the resilience that he had developed as a child and as a young adult growing up contributed? Yeah. So that is resilience. Does resilience come in various forms? Yes, it does. Resilience comes in various forms. We have physical resilience. That is in terms of how the body is. And somebody can build physical resilience by physical exercise and also eating healthy. We have emotional resilience. And this is how somebody interprets or even relates to their emotions. Is somebody able to sit down with their emotions, experience their emotions, feel their emotions, acknowledge their emotions, and still act in their best interest? Then we have social resilience. That is in terms of relationships. How are the relationships? And this is built by somebody having relationships that are nurturing, relationships that are protected, relationships that are stable. And it's not just having relationships, but also being that friend. And also we have mental resilience. How mentally stable are you? How mentally stable is somebody? We have spiritual resilience. In terms of a belief in a higher being, we can say God. How does somebody relate with a higher being? Research has shown that people who believe and trust in a higher being, actually when they face challenges, when they face adversities, they are at a place whereby they recover quickly, they recover fast, because they believe that at the end of the day, everything is working together for their good. So these are the forms of resilience. How can one build resilience? So building resilience, we can look at it based on the forms of resilience. When you look at the forms of resilience, that is the physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, that is how we can understand how to build it. So let's begin by looking at the various ways of building resilience. When we look at the physical, how do you build resilience? We build resilience by exercise, by eating healthy. I remember a lady sharing her story of how at the age of 38, I think she was 38 years, she lost her husband suddenly to a condition that they didn't know existed. During that time, she had just lost her mother and her brother in the previous year. And those were the surviving family members that she had. Her mother, her brother had died within the previous year. She lost her husband. And she says something very interesting. She said every day as they were doing the funeral arrangements, she went for a walk. Every day she walked because she knew that she was building her physical resilience. So exercise, eating healthy is very important. Now, forming connections is a way of building resilience. Form friendships, reach out to people. Even when you go to a new place, you need to be able to walk up, say hi to somebody, introduce yourself, and get to know them. Now, another way of building resilience is being able to set realistic goals and working towards achieving them. We call this having the mentality of a victor, not a victim mentality, whereby you know that in life you have choices and you're not a victim of circumstances. So you set realistic goals and you work at achieving them. Now, taking decisive action is also a way of building resilience. Even in the midst of adversity, being able to take action, what do I do from here? What do I do next? As opposed to being pity-party, oh me, why is this happening to me? But being able to ask yourself, what can I do about it? Nurturing a positive attitude. Probably you've heard of looking at a glass as half full or half empty. So you need to always look at, what is this teaching me? What is this teaching me? Because there's always a lesson to learn. When we look at the lesson, we will always find there is this saying that goes that whatever you focus on grows. Whatever you look at, whatever you are focusing on, it is the one that is going to grow. So we need to always look at the sunny side, looking at the positive side of life. Now, another way that we can nurture resilience is always thinking about a future that is uncertain. When you're here today, but you're thinking of tomorrow, it's uncertain. Changes happen, and embracing change as a norm. They say that the only thing we are assured of is change. I remember some time back I read a book that is a very simple and short book, but speaks very powerfully on the power of embracing change. And the book is called Who Moved My Cheese? It's a book, you just take a short little book and you read it within maybe an hour or 2 hours. And I remember that was a very practical lesson for me, because many times, many of us, we resist change. Because adversity essentially is change. So we need to learn to accept that, yes, this has happened and it's going to change me. I'm going to be another person, and that's okay. So accept that there will be good days, there will be bad days. The bad will be there, yes, but that is still okay. And resilience, remember, always look at it as a basket, not as something you have or don't have, but as a basket of, you can continue filling that basket by doing little things each and every day, so that when the times of adversity comes, then you have resource. You have resource to sustain you during that period of adversity, and also enable you to bounce back after the adverse event has taken place.